Want your question answered? You've got to send a text message. Take out your cell phone and type out your question. Then send it to 336-379-5775. Don't call. You must send a text message if you want your question answered.
And we are answering your questions about stimulus payments and taxes. Mark Hensley and Kevin Robinson are your experts for today. This question is, did the tax filing date get pushed back like it did last year?
Well, it was a compromise, Tanya. It got pushed up to May 17th for the federal and the state. But keep in mind, North Carolina, as of now, could still charge interest for taxes, state taxes paid after April 15th. But it did get pushed up individually to May 17th for federal and state.
Yeah, there is that little sticky wicket that North Carolina can charge you interest on taxes for right now. We believe that state lawmakers are going to change that, but they haven't done that just yet. All right, Mark, this person says, will all dependents get $1,400?
Yes, this is my favorite topic. Regardless of age, if you carry a dependent, there is no cap on the number of children. There is no cap on the age. So, for AARP, this was something we advocated for because there are older adults that are counted as dependents, typically by their children if they're low income, and the filer will get $1,400 per dependent.
That's right, and that's key. The filer gets the money for the dependent doesn't get the cash. All right, Kevin, this is a question about PPP loans. They say, are PPP loans treated as income for North Carolina and/or federal taxes?
Well, basically, PPP loans that have been forgiven are treated as income on the North Carolina return. They are deductible on the federal return, but North Carolina does not recognize it, which is another word they call decoupling. So for North Carolina returns, PPP loans that are forgiven are treated as income.
All right. This is an interesting question. It talks about for families receiving stimulus money for their kids, will that money be sent to the parents or to the kids individually? So, Mark?
So you go to the tax filer, whoever files the taxes, and also counts those dependents. That's where the stimulus is given. And then it is up to the family to negotiate out how those funds are distributed.
Mm-hmm. This person is asking, do I need to file my 2020 taxes in order to receive my stimulus check?
I think it's a good idea, Tanya, to get their name in the system. And basically, if they haven't been filing in a while, I had a couple of clients that just basically have Social Security only. So we file for them and they got their stimulus check very quickly. So it is a good idea to go ahead and file and get their name in the system.
Mm-hmm. Especially since we've seen that anybody who has their name and information in the IRS system seems to get their stimulus check direct deposited, or at least gets it within the first 2 batches instead. Mark, this person is saying, if I'm a college student who did work and I filed my taxes, is my stimulus dependent on my parents' income?
So again, this goes back to, did the parents count this person as a dependent? If they file taxes as an individual and no one is carrying them as a dependent, then they are eligible for the stimulus amount and it will come directly to them. If they are counted by their parents as a dependent, the parents will receive the payment.
And it's their parents' income that will determine how much money is given or whatever else, or phased out.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So this person says, how can I return part of the third stimulus due to overpayment?
Mark, you might want to take that.
Yeah, so I would certainly treat this the same way if you received a payment for someone who is deceased. Now, I'm going to say 2 things. If an individual was alive on January the 1st and you get the stimulus payment, then you're allowed to keep it. That was one change. But if they were not, then you're supposed to send it back to the IRS with a note. And I would think if you got an overpayment, there's going to be a reckoning time either with the IRS later or now, and send it back with a note. They accept handwritten notes explaining that you got too much. Otherwise, they're going to come asking for it later on.
Okay.
All right. This person is asking, Kevin, will we have to pay taxes on the third stimulus?
No, the third stimulus, the $1,400 per person that's come out now, basically is an advance on the recovery rebate credit 2021 version of it, Tanya. So there will not be any taxes. It is a credit, and basically we'll do the same thing a year from now to reconcile the credit with the stimulus payment, meaning that on the 2021 taxes there may be more credit than stimulus, so no taxes owed.
All right, Mark, what happens to your stimulus check if you moved, but the Postal Service isn't forwarding your check anymore?
Okay, so this is, I just read up on this. First of all, if you've changed addresses, you need to make sure that the the Postal Service, you have filed to have your mail forwarded to you. There may be a small fee to do that, but it's worth $1.50 to do that. The next thing is immediately get your 2020 taxes filed so the IRS, when they do deploy your payment, have your correct information if they're sending it by a debit card or by a check. But always get your mail forwarded when you move. If you've had a change like that, it's very important to update your information with both the IRS and the U.S. Postal Service.
And I guess if worse comes to worse and they send it back and they never deliver it, that is something that, again, you do on your taxes. I know you have to wait a little while, but you eventually get it.
It does come on line 30, like we talked about. I'm sure they'd rather have a check now or a debit card now or something than to wait for a year, but it will come on that return.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your expertise and your time. If you missed any of this, you can find the information on our website under the Who Wants to Know section.